What's up guys, it's Scoopman5000. Today we're starting a whole new set of reviews, and this is a big one, both literally and metaphorically. We're looking at the Batman Earth -1 Devastator from McFarlane Toys. And so this is going to start the reviews of the Dark Knight's Metal team. I got this whole wave of the 4 figures, and I had to start out with the Devastator, probably the most exciting of the wave, but he's not without his issues, and I can already see some before I even open the figure, but we're going to get all into that. But he's coming in the standard multiverse packaging we've gotten with all the waves so far. Very interesting with this guy is he takes up the entire box, and especially when you go this way, you can feel the figure. There's no room wasted here, and like Doomsday, he's hard to contain. He's busting this box. It's already a little bit beat up, and you can see the wear on the peg up top. And this guy has been known already to destroy some boxes because he's like a brick. This thing's a weapon, weighs a ton. On the side, you get Batman Earth -1. On the other, you're getting that in larger text. And then on the back, the usual, you get the awesome cover art, and then the other figures you can get from McFarlane. And on this one, they show the 2 Wonder Woman 84 figures and 3 White Nightwave figures. And there's the barcode on the bottom. These guys are showing up in Walmarts right now. And with the box out of the way, let's bust open the Devastator. And with every multiverse figure, you're getting the figure stand, but on a figure like this, the stand is almost redundant. And like I said before, I love the trading card. You get an awesome piece of the artwork from the Devastator's cover. And they're calling him Batman Earth -1 here, and that's what they've done for all these metal figures, except for the Grim Knight. So on the back, you get the file card. Here it says it's supposed to be 8'10", but the scale here is not great, and that's probably my biggest issue. And then the bio says, crashing into our world from the dark multiverse's Earth -1 comes the nightmarish fusion of the only 2 beings capable of taking down the Man of Steel, Doomsday and Batman, the Devastator, an all-powerful creature in which the unstoppable might of Doomsday is combined with the unmatched intelligence of Batman. So really cool trading card. Dark Knight's Metal is something that really got me back into reading comics, and I bought all the trade paperbacks of that, and now I can take this Devastator card, add it to my stack of multiverse figure cards. I'm gonna have to get a binder or something like that. And that leaves us with this big chunk of plastic, the Devastator, out of the packaging. And I definitely had to start with this guy, just a super imposing, impressive sculpt here. And this is why I love McFarlane's DC Multiverse, because this is just not something that you're gonna get with Mattel's previous line, and with a lot of other companies too. Todd McFarlane is, for all intents and purposes, an evil genius, because nobody else would take a figure this large and this heavy and put it in a $20 figure box and charge 20 bucks for it. If this was Marvel Legends, it would at least be 30 bucks, and what you're getting here is a much better sculpt and presentation that you'd get with a Marvel Legends, but it's not without its flaws, like I said. The biggest one here is the scale. So I'll go over that before I even review it. We'll bring in the Batman Who Laughs, and you could see that he's maybe half an inch taller, something like that. He's bigger, he's taller, he's definitely a lot girthier. Let's say these figures are all supposed to be about 6 foot. Batman Who Laughs a little taller, we'll say 6'5" or something like that. Devastator should still be like up here. And coming up, we have the Merciless Build-A-Figure. He should be closer to Batman Who Laughs, but he ends up being way taller than Devastator and Batman Who Laughs. So the Dark Knight Metal team's going to be a little weird, and this figure's actually going to be getting re-released with the Superman coming soon. But maybe they can revisit it someday. We'll get a bigger version of him. If anything, just take this sculpt and just scale it up a bit. I think that would have been perfect, but they had to fit it in the $20 box. They weren't going to make him the Build-A-Figure. But going ahead, looking at this guy, and you really just get such impressive sculpt here. Of course, he's got that almost scaly rock texture that Doomsday has. And so this whole story is basically Batman has to stop an evil version of Superman. So he injects himself with the Doomsday virus. That corrupts him, turns him into the Devastator, and then he's obviously recruited by the Batman Who Laughs to kind of take over the multiverse. But really, the whole point of Dark Knight's Metal is to get these awesome fusion characters, like a Batman Doomsday and a Batman Joker. And I'm sure the second that they got a toy license, Todd McFarlane was licking his chops looking at these Dark Knight's Metal figures, because they're the most Todd McFarlane things ever. I could definitely see this guy fighting Spawn or something like that. But for me, I'm all for that. Todd has said it before, these things are going to look good on a shelf, and he is not kidding. These are badass, awesome designs of Batman figures. And yeah, there are a bunch of Batmans, but this is the most unique Batman that's ever been made. There's not Batmans like this on the shelf. There never has been a Devastator figure. So I'm not one to complain about getting too many Batmans, and these really are their own characters. Devastator, Grim Knight, Dawnbreaker, all of them. But some really awesome texture work going on here. Again, all over the skin. Here you can see some great red paint in the eyes. It really does look like glowing red eyes, which is nice. We are missing a painted tongue, though. He's just got this gray tongue that looks kind of out of place. But the jaw looks like it articulates, so you can actually close it up. I think I definitely prefer it like that. But if you want to recreate, you know, the artwork, then you want the jaw open looking up. But really impressive sculpt. I mean, it looks like an old school McFarlane figure, but it has decent articulation, especially for this size. You can see he's got these awesome bone growth spurs coming out of his shoulders. They're done in like a dark black. They kind of create like a bat shape on his shoulders. And then all around him, he's got the tattered up clothes. He got most of his pants left. I guess it's supposed to be like a Bruce Wayne tattered clothes. This kind of looks like suit pants or something like that. But really awesome, really McFarlane looking designs here. I keep saying that, but it really is true. These are obviously Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder's creation, but this is very Todd McFarlane. It's right up his alley. And there is a bit of a wash over some of the figure, but some of it doesn't have it, which kind of is a drawback. Because you get the torso, you get the head sculpt, and you can see this awesome black wash over it. But then you go to the hands and the arms, it's got the same amount of sculpt detail, but no wash, and it makes it look a bit cheaper. And I'm not much of a customizer, but maybe I'd pick up a second one, experiment with putting washes over him, really bring out the rest of his sculpt, because it really is awesome. And I could definitely see why they're making a 2-pack with this guy and Superman, because you got to reuse this mold somehow, because it is just so expensive looking. And maybe with that Superman 2-pack, we'll get some better paint work on him. I don't know what else you could really do other than if you made him like a bloody variant or something. On the back here, you see all sorts of nice details here. Again, maybe a little bit more of a wash would have been necessary on the back here, but it looks good overall. It just kind of doesn't match with the shoulders. It looks a lot lighter here. And then with a lot of these McFarlanes, the kind of mid-groin piece is a big rubber piece, and that's the same for his pants here. Kind of go over the waist, and then they cover a bit of the legs. And I really just love the design here of the Devastator. And really all the Metal Knights are just such great designs. And I couldn't be happier that we already have a complete team of these guys. We just got to wait on the Merciless and also the Drowned. But then we know those are coming out, and they're coming out soon. So we're going to have a complete Dark Knights Metal team the first year into DC Multiverse, which is pretty great. But it's almost hard to talk about the design here because there's so much sculpt going on. It's so much spurs and textures and all sorts of stuff like that. You see the arms, they got the Doomsday spikes, goes down. You got all sorts of growths coming out of his wrists. His hands here, he's got like claws almost, which look really nice. That goes down into his legs. He's got all sorts of growth on the lower legs as well. And then some big, gigantic Doomsday feet on him as well. So now we'll go ahead and do articulation on him. And he's got some really interesting stuff going on. So the head seems like it's just on a ball joint as far as I could tell. But it's maybe a double ball, so there's a ball at the bottom of the neck. And then at the top of the base of the head. So you're getting a little bit of a tilt movement. He doesn't really look up far. He just kind of looks straight out. And down the same thing. And then unique to this guy that we don't get on a lot of figures, he's got the articulated jaw, so that's going to go up and down. Like I said, I definitely think I prefer it with the closed mouth, just because he's got this gray tongue. It definitely looks like that should be painted, but maybe that's something they can improve on in the upcoming 2-pack. The torso here, there's a ball joint here and a ball joint here. So with that combined, you're getting a very impressive back, almost entirely. You could almost even go further. And then forward as well. It's not going to be as much because of the sculpt. And you can see he's very clicky and very tight. He's going forward pretty decent because of those ball joints. He's getting all sorts of tilt action as well. He's got butterfly shoulders, and they got these caps over him. But they're not too usable. At least maybe I'd have to warm up the plastic or something. But I can't really seem to get much movement out of these butterflies. Then the shoulders, the standard hinge and swivel action. He's going straight out. You get big single joints on the elbows, but what can you expect with a sculpt like this? So it's really only going 90 degrees. And then the hands, they rotate and they also hinge as well. Very clicky on these. Again, it's a big, gigantic figure. It's going to articulate way different than anything else you really have. And he's going to split very decent for a large figure. He's got a single jointed knee, which again is tight. It goes 90 degrees. The feet are very ratchety. They go back and forth. You got a bit of an ankle rocker. And then you also do get a very impressive toe hinge. And overall, that does it for the Devastator. And the scale is a bit of an issue for me. And maybe he could use just a little bit more paint. But you cannot fault this figure. It really is a very impressive effort by McFarlane. And with all that taken care of, let's get to my favorite part. Let's do some comparisons. So for some Wave 1 Batmans, we have the Detective Comics 1000, as well as the blue variant of Batman the Animated Series. And again, he's maybe got like half inch on these guys in terms of height. And different artwork has shown Devastator to be different heights. But for any kind of Doomsday-like character like this, I definitely think he should just be a little bit taller. But he had to fit into that box. And then for some more McFarlanes, we have the Arkham Asylum Joker and Batman. And again, I just wish he was a little bit bigger, but he still looks good next to them. And then we'll bring back that Wave 1 Batman Who Laughs, as well as the recently reviewed Azrael Batman. And then to bring in some DC figures from other companies, we got the NECA Batman vs. Alien, and then a 6-inch scale Mattel Superman Doomed. So here's Superman Doomsday and Batman Doomsday, but you can see for a 6-inch scale, I think he works a lot better. He's got much more of a height difference with this 6-inch Superman. And to further prove that point, here's the Mattel Build-A-Figure Doomsday, and then I had to move the camera up and hold it handheld to get the Storm Collectibles Doomsday in the frame. And I love all three of these figures for different reasons. Obviously, my favorite's going to have to be Storm Collectibles because nobody's doing figures like Storm is, but even still, that Mattel one is pretty impressive, and you can see he's basically shoulder to shoulder, maybe even a little bit bigger than this McFarlane one at 7-inch scale. And overall, that's going to do it for the Devastator. You can see I kind of tried to get him in the artwork pose here, but overall there's a lot of meat on the bone here. He's a massive figure for this price point, and that's really the big thing. He's 20 bucks. He's the same price as a Marvel Legends or any other multiverse, but by all intents and purposes, this is a premium, deluxe, gigantic figure. Customizers are gonna have fun, I think, putting paint washes over him and stuff like that, and even for you guys that stick at 6-inch scale, this is definitely one for sure that you could put into those displays. So overall, it's going to get my recommendation, and I'm going to be reviewing the other Metal Knights throughout the week. I got the Grim Knight, the Dawnbreaker, and the Murder Machine. And also hitting stores now is the Cyborg, and I think also the Flash and Joker. And I'm going to try to track those down as soon as I can to get them on the channel for you guys. So if you like these kind of reviews and any other action figures, you know where to stay right here on the channel. As always, I'm going to leave it all up with some figure photography, and you can see more of that over at Instagram, scoopman_5000. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.